Okay.
Just there.
We're just going to put the mic up, but I've got. If everybody can hear me clearly, we're good. Okay, well, then we'll sit and wait. It's all good.
Yeah, I'm not in control of this mic.
Okay.
So,
You're not.
You're not.
Hotel has to take care of that.
Is there a button you turn on? Yeah, I think so. Okay. There you go. Okay. Is this okay? Wait, is there going to be feedback between us? Yeah, there's going to be feedback.
Hold on a second. He's got.
Yeah, call that. Thank you. Oh my God, I'm not freaking out today.
We've never had this much silence in Carol's life.
Ever.
Not in our house.
No. Between the two of you being the age you were and the fact that neither of you knew headphones worked, it was just, there's the guest book. Okay. I'm going to go put this on the table for folks to sign.
First of all, I didn't know what to expect.
You still got to get the mic set up.
Okay,
We'll work on it. Don't worry. We're getting there. Technical difficulties, that's all.
that's good.
Well, there's feedback between two mics. We're working on it. He's back there.
There you go.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Where's their
There's still
There's feedback.
feedback.
Yeah, he's working on it. Don't worry.
There's still feedback.
Do you want me to turn this off again? Okay, so then can someone please go find the lady from the hotel who can figure that out, okay? Cool.
Thanks, team.
Appreciate it.
That woman there has been nothing short of a godsend.
Literally, bless you, teen, seriously.
Oh, yeah. Oh, I think I can project my voice. At the start, since that fateful day in August, the support I have received has been nothing short of incredible. I have been offered help by virtually everyone in this room, and I can't. I would go back to the house, and I kept on saying to people, "Where do I start to put everything together?" Is it working?
Have we figured it out? Try turning it on now? Cool. Any feedback? Nuts. Okay.
I'm still getting a ring.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know what?
What if you hold on to the mic away from the...
What if I walk away? Yeah, hold on. All right. Is this better? No, way more feedback. Okay.
It has nothing to do with this. You have to turn the system down.
Sorry?
They have to turn the volume down in the hotel. It has nothing to do with it. So the hotel.
She's working on it? Okay.
Ask them to turn the volume down.
Sorry? Okay, can you guys hear me?
Oh, easily.
Can I turn the volume down? Goodness, that hole is so far away for it to actually sound reasonable. Okay, whatever. Have we figured out the feedback thing, or we're just gonna keep going? Okay. Okay. Turning that off and waiting. Goodness.
Never a dull moment.
You go communicate that,
Yeah,
please.
I'm
Thank
going
you.
to,
Yeah. We'll figure it out. Don't worry. Huh? Try again? Cool. Okay. Third time's the charm?
Yeah.
Let's go! Let's go in! Okay. I'm really, really happy to see you all here today. Thank you so much for showing up for her. Oh no. I'll stand here. Dad and I drew straws to see who would go first, and I won, so I don't have to hold myself together for the rest of this day. Let's get started. To start, as you can tell, this celebration of life is not going to be very formal. I think the most formal thing about my mom was her command of the English language. Anybody who knew her well can attest that she would rather show up in a ratty parka and a volunteer shirt to anything rather than dress up. She was very down to earth, and she was very messy and is very human. So in that sense, Mom didn't want this to be a stuffy, very formal kind of setting. She wanted us to be laughing and remembering her fondly, which is what we will be doing today. And that's why I asked everyone to wear red, or their favorite volunteer shirt, because she was very much that kind of lady. That being said, her not being here today has rocked every single person in this room. And so I want to start this off by saying it's a safe space for any feelings, big or sad, big or small, happy or sad. I'm not going to label them as positive or negative. It's a big day for big feelings about a tiny person. I have two stories I want to share with you today. And I feel the need to start out with one of them by addressing the chrome-plated elephant in the room. There's a bit of a story here that I think all of you should know, and that I should share to provide some context as to why our guest of honor is under a drape right now. This may seem like a giant tangent, but trust me, there's a point to it. I hope that by the end of it all, we can all have a good laugh, because that's what she would have wanted with this specific thing. As many of you know, my mom had a wicked sense of humor and an affinity for cooking really good food. And while she had pretty great taste in general, she specifically had a huge thing for vintage goods. Between her own taste in good quality things and the period of time where she and her beloved sister, my Auntie Nancy, ran an antique store here in town, we acquired more and more sick vintage goods, as I called them, over the years. And we came up with a number of really fun uses for them as well. And I was promised a fair number of these sick vintage goods, when namely my mom's vintage hi-fi turntable and receiver and the speakers that go with that, and a number of antiques, when I became more of an adjusted and settled down adult. And apparently that time was last year, according to you guys?
Not this past year.
Last year.
Summer of 24.
Yeah. Well, but we have to double check that between the two of us, right? Last summer, before my folks drove out west to give all of these sick vintage goods to me and my beloved partner Liam out in Vancouver, my mom asked us to do a deep scan of our kitchen and come up with a wants and needs list. My partner and I are diehard food fans, and we are big into cooking and sharing that joy with people, and my mom shared that with us passionately. She would have given anything to us if it would have made it easier for us to make good food for other people. That's how she was. That being said, she had one holdout in this request. She told me, holy crap, I'm about to say this. She told me in no uncertain terms that I was not allowed to have her 1950s era chrome beehive blender because, in her words, that is what my ashes should go into when I finally depart this earth. I have the screenshot. Trust me, I swear, I couldn't make this up if I tried. Team, can you pop that up for me, please? I literally could not have made that up if I tried. Who thinks putting ashes in a blender is funny? My mother, apparently. So we put her in that blender. I don't know if it was grief or humor, but as you can see in my response, when she told me, I genuinely could not have thought of a better representation for someone who had razor-sharp wit, a love of vintage goods, and an industrious drive to feed people good food, much like the industrial appliances of the vintage era that she loved so much. So, introducing our late guest of honor in her industrious glass vessel here.
It will never... I've made sure that it will never blend anything again.
It's no one's gonna want to use it anymore. Trust me, we couldn't have done any better unless we'd made her a giant Carmex lip balm pot to live in.
See, her boyfriend, Liam, he has a 3D printer.
And we were genuinely thinking about printing her a novelty-sized Carmex lip balm, because that lady never had any other kind of lip balm, and she was never seen without that thing. So now that the chrome-plated elephant has been addressed, we are here today to celebrate someone who lived the kind of life that is so hard to break down and summarize into a few small words, which is kind of funny, because, that's what she was good at. My mom had a really immaculate way with words. I think the fact that so many people came up with such incredible things to say about her in the wake of her loss speaks volumes to that in a pay-it-forward kind of way. She graced us all with her craft and her command of this English language, and we all rushed to do the same for her. And I think that she would have found that quite moving, honestly. When I made the public post announcing that she had left us, I made a point of mentioning that she wrote her own obituary. This is something she told me so many times over the years, long before she started struggling with her health. And as a result, I genuinely didn't question it when it came time to let people know that she left us. The way she told me, it made it sound a little bit like it was something I wouldn't have to worry about in the aftermath of everything, but we are really sorry. We looked everywhere. We looked through every server on her computer, every notebook on her desk, through the myriad of random Post-it notes everywhere. We even went looking for a safety deposit box that didn't exist.
She didn't have them.
It's lost to the ether if it ever did exist.
And she told Sam about it.
But didn't tell Dad.
Didn't tell me.
But the idea that her final words are not able to be shared today, something about that feels so wrong on so many levels for a woman like my mother. She wrote that obit, if it ever did exist, because she wanted the last word.
No one was going to get her byline.
She'd be damned.
Oh, boy.
For someone of my mom's stature and appearance, words were so much more than just her craft. They were how my mom made it know that she was more than just a pretty face and a tiny body. And in a newsroom environment that she grew up in, that was survival. That was essential. It was her way of making sure that nobody would ever underestimate her. So I really wanted to stand up here today in front of all of these people who loved her the same way we did, and having found her obit, been able to share it with all of you. But alas, I guess I'm going to have to take a page out of her book and do it myself, much like what happened when she started the Outlook.
Okay. Let me just say one thing here. Carol did this. For those who have been around for 28, 29 years, when Carol worked at the Leader, she had a column, an editorial. She spent, I'd say, 3, maybe 4 years at least bringing up Sam.
Yes.
And she calls it I Am Sam. Words by Carol Picard, inspiration by Samantha, and whatever else with me.
Support and sanity. Don't give yourself so little credit.
But she's got, the columns are all in here. And she actually wrote a book that had something to do with this, but
There is a copy of these columns and a copy of the book that she wrote over on the table over there with all of her photos and memorabilia. Please feel free to look through them at some point tonight. They're wonderful. But in honor of my book being as much her book, because I'm about half her, I'm going to read
You are half her.
one of these columns about a perfect fall day we had when I was about 2 years old, so that in some way today, the words she wrote will be shared. So, without further ado, this is a column my mom wrote when I was about 2, and it is called The Time of My Life. It was a situation for which my daughter and I were ill prepared. Normally accustomed to hurrying and scurrying wherever we go, always racing a clock to get to the babysitters, pick up the groceries, get dinner on the table, keep life ticking along smoothly. Suddenly we had to wait. Idle time was thrust upon us when we took her visiting Nana to a half-hour appointment at the physiotherapist's office. Half an hour. Too much time to sit in the car seat and sing songs while waiting for Nana. Too little time to drive back downtown to run errands. What to do? It was a brilliant, unseasonably warm autumn day in the Canadian Rockies, and the Canmore Nerdic Center, about 10 minutes up mountain from our home in Canmore, Alberta, was unnaturally quiet in that lull between summer cycling season and the cross-country ski season still yet to come. A very, very few cars crawled along the asphalt, and maybe 2 cyclists disappeared down the trails, but otherwise we had the place to ourselves. The silence was broken only by the rustling of stray leaves still clinging to branches, and the crisp snapping of the world's flags atop tall poles lining the main road into this former Olympic venue. An incredible playground it was. Without a swing set or a teeter-totter in sight, the wide open spaces and manicured rolling slopes of the grounds offered us more opportunity than anything man could have constructed. We raced each other down roadways and up hills, singing the Grand Old Duke of York at the top of our lungs. Once the summit was mounted, we rolled down its grassy slopes, and she played Jack to my Jill. She ran hard and far, unrestrained by traffic, and I let her go until she was but a speck on the horizon, both of us unafraid of the usual hazards that threaten the fearless existence of a 2-year-old. And I was fearless. Her shrieks of excitement in our lopsided game of tag were heard only by the ravens and the angels. We found the 3 little aspen trees shedding on a tiny island of grass bisecting the roadway, and we began piling up leaves to jump in, to bury her fuzzy red Elmo in, to throw at each other. Such a thrill had yet to enter her brief existence on this earth, and her wee body fairly vibrated with ecstasy. Again, 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 she howled as I helped her master her first somersaults. More, more, she shrieked as I heaped mounds of leaves over her tiny, prone form as she lay on her back and studied the clouds. A wee tiny face in a purple fleece hood, immersed by the luminous yellow cloud of leaves. I, without a camera, frantically took mental snapshots to freeze the memory. At her high school graduation, at her wedding, perhaps at the birth of her first child, I will retrieve it and savor the moment once more when she was my little girl. They say that smell is the only one of our 5 primary senses we could live without, that were it to be lost, we would be encumbered but not handicapped. I disagree. The dusty smell of old sunshine in the dry leaves, kicked up in the long shadows of the waning day, transported me. I was once again 5 years old, 8 years old, 10 years old, a girl once more, romping in my grandfather's Manitoba farm in the sliver of time between harvest and Thanksgiving, as careless as any child had ever been. Thanksgiving, indoors, my parents and aunts and uncles may have worried about the bills to pay and the paychecks not stretching far enough and of governments failing to live up to their promises. But outside, the children shrieked and writhed and wallowed in the glory of autumn days and dry leaves. On our way home from our little frolic in the park, as I drove and she slept in exhaustion, the significance of this day hit me. This was her first real autumn. She had had 2 previous, 2 in which she was too young to really appreciate the beauty of dry leaves and time stolen. But this was her first real taste of the bittersweet joy of this season. Forgotten already were the afternoons at the beach and the ladybugs in the garden, or the flowers beheaded in squished bouquets a symbol for mommy. For her, the here and now is all that exists, and on that day, life was brilliant. There will be many more afternoons like this for her. Afternoons spent with playmates more her own age. This was, I know, one of the rapidly dwindling number of times in her life which I would be her chosen playmate. For me, though, it was a piece of my childhood snatched back from distant mists of time. And for one exquisite, brief afternoon, I was blessed with the ability to remember and with the chance to share a wisp of my childhood with a wisp of hers. Such days and opportunities are preciously rare in the grown-up world in which we adults live. We who are so busy running errands and meeting deadlines and worrying about grass stains on our knees, we are the ones who have forgotten what it is like to truly live life. To inhale it, to embrace it, and romp in it like so many piles of dry leaves. This little girl, who came so late into my life, this is her gift to me. She has unlocked memories that led me down paths I'd forgotten existed. Paradoxically, she has shown me how to simultaneously ignore time and treasure it. Shortly after that autumn day, I quit my full-time job. My husband and I juggled our precariously fragile budget to accommodate the loss of income. There are more meals of soup and pasta, fewer luxuries, and many more squeezed pennies in our lives. But there are also far fewer days spent scurrying and hurrying to meet the adult-imposed agendas, and far more hours spent following her path. This is a gift I will not squander. Okay, so that's about as much as we had as a formal structure to this. We have people who want to speak today, and I don't want to have to be one of those things where we're waiting between here and now, so I was thinking it'd be kind of funny if one of us chose some fabulous piece of memorabilia off her table, and whoever wants to speak next can just hold that and pass it to the next person who wants to speak. Like, let's just create a little... It's that, or we have a couple different things we could go into. We have people who have been willing to sing songs, and...
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
Yeah, plot twist. Surprise!
Brad? Tracy?
It's up to you guys if you're ready for it. Okay.
I have a few things to say. Not, I mean, hell, after her, who we got.
Listen, all mine was already pre-written. That's all I gotta say.
Yeah, no, it's Carol. Yeah, she was late in life, definitely. I was 41 when I met her. And it took me 2 months to get her to actually go out. And we were supposed to go to a Grizzly, for those who knew Grizz, lobster party, and that got canceled, so I had to cook dinner for her, and she survived that. And actually, I think it was her sister who told me that she realized that this was going somewhere when I put my arms around her, trying to correct her golf swing. And
You dog.
I don't. No, it was.
That's what you're calling it.
Poor dog. Yeah. But there is a story that a few people know about. We used to travel a lot, and I had, for those who have known me a long time, you knew about Saxon, who I used to call my eldest daughter before Sam came along. And for those who knew me at the beginning, Saxon was my passenger in the seat beside me. And we only had 2 seats in the van, so she was in the passenger seat.
until Carol came along. And I still had the 2 seats. And Saxon wasn't very happy. So we're on a long road trip. I think we were going down to Paul Grant's cottage for that trip when this happened. And Saxon got the idea of, I don't like this. And so she came up, and I'm driving. Carol's sitting there, and we're talking away, and blah, blah, blah.
She's about 8 months pregnant with me, so she's like out to here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so first the paw comes up, then the second paw, and then the nose, then the head. And she gets in, and she sort of works her way in behind Carol in the front seat. And Carol lets it happen. And I'm like, what the hell's going on here? The next thing you know, Carol, her bum, if that's the edge of the seat, that's where her bum was. And she was up against the dashboard. I couldn't believe it. And Lady had her seat where Saxon had her seat back. Oh my God. There's one other request that we have, both my daughter and I, because you all know how tall Carol was. So, in honor of Carol and her celebration of life, on the count of 3, if we can all duck a little, and we'll allow Carol to be the tallest person in the room. So, when you see me, don't worry about it. For anybody who's taller than 6 foot, you better start ducking. I'm going to have to cut because I'm on the same level. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, man. I can't stay down here for very long. And I may fall over. Sorry. Yeah, no, she was larger than life in many ways. I didn't see it all the time, but she had a way about her. Tom Cotsworth. Tom was our MC, wasn't he, for the Folk Fest? And he remembers, he wrote this to us, he remembers he thoroughly enjoyed his conversations with Carol. And they would get into discussions about this, that, and the other. And he said, but you know, in conclusion to what we were talking about, we always came out with whatever she wanted. She had that way about her. John Marland, in his message to me, told me about how the board of the festival had come to a decision. And so it was John's job to pass that on to Carol. And she didn't like what he was saying. And and so he said, you are going to carry this out, aren't you? When I get around to it. And he said, unfortunately, she never did get around to it. But he respected the fact that she had the spunk that she had. And she did that all through her life. Oh my God, she was in a really male-dominated industry, in the newspaper industry, in CBC. Fortunately, some of her allies are here. Billy. Billy was, you were in Winnipeg and Edmonton with her, weren't you? Larry, unfortunately, is no longer with us. What?
There's Bob.
And there's Bob. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. I can't believe I am. I can't believe this whole thing's happening. I'm the one that was supposed to go first.
No.
Yeah.
Don't be mean.
I'm 6 years older. I've got terminal.
Whatever.
She was not terminal. And here I am. I don't believe it. Anyways, through people like Billy and Larry, she made it through, and she made a mark in the industry. And as Sam, oh boy. As Sandy said that she heard her mother say, after so many years of working for incompetent people above her, mostly men, I don't know why. I can't see it myself. I'll just do it myself. And therefore, the idea of the outlook. And if there's one, not so much a complaint. It's not a complaint. It's just that they considered her the co-founder of the outlook. And it was her dream come true and her worst nightmare. They called her the co-founder. And I thought, that's, yeah, maybe it's true, but it was her idea. And she brought Larry in, and she brought Bob in after the fact. But it was her idea. And oh my God, I thought it was going to be a cakewalk. Oh, it was not. Oh. It was a battle. The first 6 months were scary, but then after that, things started to turn around. And I think journalism benefited because, number one, Carol was a good journalist. She liked to cover both sides of every story. And she, how would you say, stole? Kathy?
Poached.
Poached Kathy.
Poached the best reporters.
And she realized, because she had worked more or less against Kathy when she had the leader in the Crag. Kathy worked for the Crag, and she got her, and it's sad to say, she got Kathy because she offered her a living wage. Weekly newspapers were notorious for paying their people poorly, as you know, right, Tyler? And so she offered Kathy a working wage, a livable wage, where she didn't have to have 2 or 3 jobs.
In 2001, no less.
Yeah. 9 days after 9/11, we got on the first paper. Oh my God. Unbelievable. Now, I know there's people who want to speak. I know Marty.
Why don't we pass it along to Tracy and grab him for yourself?
Yeah, that'd be nice. You want to do that, guys?
Sure. Cool.
Okay. I saw it. I cheated, okay?
Okay, I'm going to speak for our prize. I'm just going to sing and then we're going to talk after.
Okay.
Do I need this? Can you hear me? No? What? Really? You can't hear me? So I'm not
You cannot project your voice.
right? I'll hold it. Anyway. Is this okay? Yeah.
Ready?
I'm ready. For strong winds that blow lonely, set seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may.
It's a sing-along.
But our good times are all gone, and I'm down for moving on. I'll look for you if I never act this way. Think I'll go out to Alberta, friends with their fall. I'm friends that I can go to working for. Still, I wish you would change your mind. strong winds that blow lonely, the seven seas that run high, all those things that don't change, come what may. But after times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on, I'll look for you if I never act this way. And if I get there before the snow flies, and things are looking good, you could meet me if I send you down the fair. But I landed for the big winter, and there's not much for you to do. And the wind sure blows cold way out there. Oh, strong winds that blow lonely, seven seas that run high, all those things that don't change from what may. But after times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on, I'll look for you if I never act this way. But after times are all gone, and I'm bound for moving on, I'll look for you if I never act this way.
I'm sorry, I don't cry.
Don't cry, you're scared.
Okay, story about Carol. So we moved here. My husband and I was not here yet, so I had a meeting. And it was 2006, and I was downtown because we lived on Mallard Alley. Yes. Remember that? Yeah, downtown. I thought, what is going on with this stand? Anyway, we were on Mallard Alley, and I was downtown, and Sully's Garage was playing with Charlie Butler, right? And I was standing there just watching, and then someone said, "Oh, thanks." And they're like, "Okay, what do you want to sing?" I'm like, "Okay." So I sang Summertime, and this little bullet comes flying over to me after. She's like, "You have to teach my daughter to sing!" And I said, "And you are?" She goes, "I'm Carol. It's Sam. Okay." So I said, "Okay, sure." So since then, this is so hard. She shared her daughter with me, and I... I can get through it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. I can do it. So since then, she's shared her daughter with me, and I'm so grateful for that, and for Robin, and I miss her so much. So thank you all for coming, and for the Folk Fest, and for the Outlook, and for Food and Friends, and for the school board, and it just goes on and on. So thank you so much for coming. Thank Brad for playing with me, and I got through the song and I'm crying. So
She truly was it's like a second mother. In that, yes, she trained Sam, but she also took Sam on this trip to Toronto
Oh, yes, that was hers.
and showed her the town. And thank you, Tracy.
Thank you.
Thank you. And I want to thank Steve. Where is he?
He sounds like.
Oh.
Okay, let's keep the show moving. Does anybody
Yeah.
else have anything
Okay, who was it? Marty and
to
Brian Callahan and Sean, did you say something? No, you didn't. Okay. Back in the day,
All right.
Sean and Carol started up, before it was called Food and Friends. It was sort of like a Monday night kitchen. It was basically a soup kitchen, wasn't it, Sean?
That's what Marty said.
And then,
Is that that?
yeah,
Thank you. Thank you. I'm going to all stand up here. I am reading something. Is it? Yes, exactly. Yes, thank you. So as we gather here to remember Carol's remarkable life, I'd like to provide some insight around one of Carol's lasting impacts on our community. A real measure of someone's life is the gems they leave behind. Fruit and Friends, the weekly community dinner, is certainly one of those gems for Carol. The dinner that started 12 years ago was a response to a hunger issue that was arising in our community. Carol, along with Mayor Kaiser and others, came together, put together a simple food and bun affair. At Food and Bun Fair, it was hosted at St. Michael's Anglican Church on Monday nights. But Carol had a great interest in food. And that simple food and bun affair certainly turned into a full-on dinner. And I would suggest she is an honest-to-goodness foodie. And with that food, with that full-on dinner, is included cheese, pickles, buns, etc., etc.
Desserts.
And the desserts, yes, and you can't forget the desserts. It was certainly, like you say, a full-on dinner. The number of guests grew, and a real community vibe was beginning to build. I joined the fund 10 years ago, and I remember meeting Carol for the first time. "So you're a chef?" asked her. I said yes, I just retired. Then she handed me a wooden spoon and said, "Let's see what you can do." So that was, so I guess it was part of the team. And it was very fun and has grown since then. So, but you really get to, I was really impressed with how Carol got to know all the volunteers really, really well. And it was also a remarkable thing at the ease in which Carol could manage challenges that were always there. It seemed that there was, whatever issue there was, Carol had a way around it. Fridge breaks down. Call so-and-so. They'll help. Oven issues. Yeah, talk to so-and-so. And so you get the picture. She knew everybody, and no one ever said no.
Or they tried.
They tried. They tried. Sometimes. Some of them more than others. The skill set was really put to the test during the start of the COVID crisis. The weekly dinner had stopped, but the community really needed help. Carol and Sean to the rescue, and the problem solving began. A grant was written and accepted, and a call was made to the Iron Goat. "We need you to produce 400 meals twice a week." No problem, right? Our volunteers were transitioned into delivery drivers, dropping meals directly to people's homes. And Carol was Canmore's equivalent to a real culinary fixer. Amazing, wasn't it? And Food and Friends continues to evolve, with over 140,000 meals served to our valley. It's a going concern. And there's always a touch of Carol in every dinner that we produce. With a volunteer spirit seems to make it happen every week. It's to her credit that we have a team of over 150 dedicated volunteers. And every week, 25 of those volunteers, including her husband Robin, who's a dedicated shopper, work to make it all happen. We serve about 400 meals, up to 400 meals a week, and the community members, to our community members. Looking out onto the St. Michael's Church dining hall last Monday, seeing the families, seniors, newcomers, and kids all enjoying the meal together, I reflected on the gem that is Food Friends. It's one of the best examples of community spirits and sharing I can imagine. This is one of those many legacies that Carol has helped to bring to Canmore. And we're so lucky to have her advice and guidance. Thank you, Robin, for sharing Carol with us. I bring condolences from all of our volunteers here today to this event today. And Carol's memory will live on as we work to feed our community. Thank you.
I'm not going to stand. Marty, thank you. Just a note, and Sean will recognize this. In the early days, when we went from like the soup kitchen to the full-on meals, Carol would put together a menu, do the shopping, and then meet up with 5 or 6 other women in the kitchen at St. Mike's and do all the prep work, and then come cooking day, cook everything, until Marty and Raymond came along. And oh my God, it was incredible. It truly was incredible. But the amount of work that the ladies put in initially to get it going, like it's 12 years and Marty's been there 10. For those first 2 years, the formative years, yeah, you remember that, Sean. Yeah, I just wanted to mention that because it's important. Brian, another aspect of Carol's life. Just a small one, though.
Is it going to work, Sam? Is it going to work? Should be. Should be? Good. Thanks, everyone.
Stand back.
Stand back, okay. You know, the Irish, unaccustomed as we are to speaking in public, eh? Unaccustomed as I am, yeah. I had lunch with Robin last week, and we went down memory lane, which is a great place. We had a great afternoon. He said, I'm a bit nervous asking you Irish guys to talk because you're well steeped in Irish wake custom. I said, okay, I'll keep it brief. Okay, we're good? Okay, good. Thank you. I'm done. It's like the grad class, right? Get them off of there, right? Let's get to dry grad. Sure. Look, we're here to celebrate Carol's life. Okay, this is the purpose, and I know she's with us. I think this is just a marvelous the blender is just too much for me. Okay. But you know what? It is so her. Okay? Who is she? She was a mom to Sam. She was a wife, a journalist, an entrepreneur, social change advocate, fun-loving, and a steadfast friend to many. That's Carol. That's the way I see her. That's the way I remember her. That's the way I'll always remember her. And though petite in form, she was colossal in spirit. She loved words, I know that. Yes, colossal. But from the moment I met her, I sensed a woman with a curiosity and drive. She introduced herself as a journalist with an interest in the school system. So I'm a nervous young school superintendent wondering what this journalist is going to be up to in my backyard. But I remember her saying to me that she would cover our stories with objectivity and fairness. She said, "The only stipulation I have, Mr. Superintendent, you be truthful and straightforward with me, and I'll do the same, and I'll get your story out there." In those early years, as a school board, we were introducing French language programming, which stimulated community debate, not all of it supportive. But she took the view that she was going to support second language acquisition as a desired outcome for some learners in preparing for global citizenship. She was looking afar. She realized that the boys and girls who were graduating from here would say goodbye and go off to the big city to pursue their hopes and dreams. And some of those boys and girls, they're now young adults, I know, they live all over the world. That's what she was getting them ready for. During the community consultations on the design of Canmore Collegiate, she advanced her support for the construction of a new community high school. She saw its potential as a Bow Valley asset, not just for Canmore, but for our friends in Banff and in Exshaw and our children at Minithri also. She wanted a school that was worthy of our children. And there was a lot of debate. It's the only high school built in the province of Alberta that has ever been challenged by a plebiscite to forbid the board from borrowing the money to get it built. The only time it's ever happened since Alberta entered Confederation. Carol was on side. Today, the board has named the latest addition to Canmore Collegiate in her honor. The gathering space is named Carol Picard Hall. Welcome to come and see it. Her interest in school board affairs, you know this, eventually led her to seek election to the board, where she served as a trustee and board chair for, I would say, around 15 years. 15, thanks, Sam. Okay. Her focus on programming and support was there for all students. She wanted every student to acquire the knowledge and skills they would need to pursue their life's goals and dreams, no matter where it took them. She saw their life as extending beyond the Bow Valley. She advocated for fair funding for small-sized school jurisdictions throughout the province of Alberta. She served on the executive with the Public School Boards Association in Edmonton, where she distinguished herself as a well-respected trustee who would take on injustice and unfairness when she encountered it at the provincial level. And to be precise, Carol was a mighty warrior. And I think as a measure of respect, one of her colleagues on that board, Lainey, are you here, has driven all the way down from Dewberry, I think it's the most beautiful name of the community in the province, to be here to show that respect. So I want to thank you for that very much. Thanks, Lainey. Carol had a quick mind, and it enabled her to see to the heart of an issue and frame her reply in words that people could understand. She used to tease me and say, "You use all those university words, I'll use my words. We're good." So I said, "Okay, Carol." But after a while, when I was getting ready to write something, I used to ask her to read it over for me. So she won that too, right? Same. I'm just saying, it's all good. It's all good. She was the consummate communicator. It didn't matter what forum she was in, Lainey, you know that. She took on big people. People who prided themselves on holding different political views. She would not shy away. That was just Carol. I think she almost relished, so you think you're bigger than me. Well, that would just get her juices flowing. You know how she was. But the element that enhanced her rational approach to the complexities of governance and community life was her tender heart and loving spirit. Yes. You can't be all one without the other. She was the whole package. Okay? Carol did not simply call out issues. She called for social change by rolling up her sleeves and personally caring for those in need. She wasn't just a critic, she was a builder. She had solutions. Carol, as a trustee, could be a pain in the neck. Why? Because she'd ask why not until she was satisfied. And it could be exhausting. And we had meetings that went late into the night. I know this because Carol often came to my house with her tasty offerings. And she prepared meals for our international students. Robin, you'll remember those days too. And also fed our community. And thank you for all the stories that relate to that. I would get them kind of secondhand. I will always carry an image of my first meeting with Carol as she arrived in a VW Beetle. There's a picture of it here. Carol could hardly see over the steering wheel. Ah, but what a smile. What a smile. A few years later, she came to the office with her daughter, Sammy, in tow. For a chat, she said. We needed to talk things over. Coming into the office, Sammy, a young lady, became fixated on the model Beetle I had on my bookshelf. In a flash, Sammy reaches for it, and she breaks off the front bumper. Carol was apologetic. She turned to me and she said, "Just another day in the life of a mom." In the superintendent's office, she joked. She said to me, "I've been in the principal's office before, the first time in the superintendent's office." Sammy, would you please come up?
I forgot
Come on,
about
dear.
this, Brian.
See, I still have it. This is the car. This is the car that, there's the bumper, it's gone.
Damn, sorry.
But the bumper's inside, on the back seat or in the front.
Yeah.
Your dad said he's going to fix it.
I'll fix it.
So this is your mother journeying on the highways of life. And you carry this with you. Okay, dear? Thanks, Robin. Okay. Thanks, Rob.
She freaking loved that Beetle so much. And I know it broke her heart to have to part with it in the first place. And the only reason that happened was, sorry, it was me. I was born, and the thing couldn't fit a car seat in the front passenger seat because of the seatbelt things. So she made that tough decision for me. And I'm really glad that her love of that Beetle is here today too. I've got a couple photos of it up on the display board over there. I couldn't include them, or I couldn't not include them, because that's so much of who she was. She moved house in that thing at one point. Like, she was impressive. She could accomplish a lot.
I'm gonna put this here for her. She deserves this today.
We don't have much else planned in terms of formalities here. I know there were a couple people who wanted to speak, and I think one of those was Mayor Krauser. I may be wrong, correct me if I am. And there's also Billy Davidson, who was my mother's mentor in the journalism industry. So I'm going to invite Billy up here now to say a few words. Billy and Larry Marshall were the two people who mentored my mother in journalism, and Mom and Larry Marshall took that and paid it forward and mentored several dozen other journalists in that stead. Tanya Faubert being one of them, Ian Cobb being another. And I couldn't think of a better person to speak on that chapter of her life than Billy, so
Okay.
thank you.
Anyway, Carol and I became really good friends through the newspaper business. We started at the Winnipeg Tribune, then the Winnipeg Sun, then the Edmonton Sun. Anyway, August 27, 1980, we got summoned to the, to the newsroom at the Trib and told that they're shutting the paper down. So the press club was just up the street, so they opened it early for us. So by 2 o'clock, we were pretty much smashed, all of us. So I said, well, we got to keep this weight going, so let's go back to my house. So At midnight, when my wife Disa went to bed, there was 57 people in the basement and more coming in. Right? So daylight was coming, so I figured I better go out and see if there's any bodies on the front lawn. So I opened the front door, and here's Carol sitting on the stoop, and there was a part-time sports reporter hitting on her really hard. And she took it for a little while, and then finally she just turned and said, "Doc, fuck off."
I love it. Thank you. Amazing.
Okay. All right, so before we settle into reception, and there's a few beverages and drinks, and there's a table over there with some of her awards, there's food, there's good stuff to eat, trust me. There's food, there's a table over there that has a number of my mom's most cherished cookbooks and just books that we found in her house that really spoke to who she was. There's also a basket on the side of the table there full of Mara's grocery bags, Mara's grocery bags. And we encourage you guys to take a book or two home if something speaks to you. And you look at those options there and say, hey, Mom loved this, I remember this about her, I'm going to remember her fondly through her books. And there's a lot of gold ones in there. Some of them have all the sticky notes in them from where she bookmarked them too. You can probably find some really good recipes. Between that and the table over on the side here, there's a guest book you're welcome to sign. There's a ton of other little options around the room here to mingle and talk and remember her fondly. And I just wanted to say one last time, thank you so much for coming here and supporting us all and for honoring her. To send off the end of the night, I have Roger Retzer here. He is ready to perform a song for us in honor of Mom. And when we're done, let's drink and be merry.
No. Oh.
Roger, would you like the mic?
No, I'm good.
You're good?
Trust me, I have a theater voice.
Let's go.
You can hear me at the back of the room. What a great bunch of stories. I certainly have my own. How you doing? But I'm afraid I start to cry if I start to tell my Carol stories, but we've been texted on a regular basis about just about everything. Yeah, I loved her columns about you growing up. You know, and even though I grew up reading the Globe and Mail and all kinds of other things, still one of the greatest journalists, I think, ever. Okay, I gotta sing a song before I start crying. Gotta stick with me, this is a medley. And you'll know at the end why I'm singing this melody. Well, I looked over the Bow River. What did I see? Coming for to carry me home, There was a band of angels, they were coming after me, coming for to carry me home, Swing low, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home, sweat loads in love, sweet chariot, coming for to carry me home, me home. Why you so cold? What did I see? Coming for to carry me home, me home. There was men of angels, they were coming after me. Coming for to carry me home. Undertaker, Undertaker, come on and drive that wagon real slow. There's a body got to carry her, and I hate to see her go. It's in the blender. May the circle be unbroken, by and by, Lord, by and by. There's a better home awaiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Gotta sing. Mama sang tenor, me and little brother were drawing right in there, singing songs that help a troubled soul, troubled soul. One of these days, and it won't be long, we'll rejoin them in a song, and the circle won't be broken for too long. Oh, the circle won't be broken, my Lord, by and by. There's a matter all waiting in the sky, Lord, in the sky. Brothers and sisters now of the Church of the Malcolm here in Canmore, Alberta, I know you all are sinners. I know each and every one of you have sinned. Yes, you have. I know you personally, some of you. And I know your sins, but I'm here to save you now. I'm here to save you now. I can save you, and you can all sing along, and you know all the words. This is a sing along. Here we go now. Oh, amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me, like me. Well, I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. And I know you're all sinners, you're all drinkers and smokers and fornicators. But I tell you, the power of the Lord and Elvis Presley is going to save you right now. Because I used to smoke, I used to drink, I used to smoke and drink. And to the hoochie coo, I used to smoke and drink and smoke, smoke and drink, and to the hoochie coo. And it's an Elvis song. People love to tell you, Jesus, he's coming down. Oh yeah, I've been saved, I've been saved, I've been saved, I've been saved. Oh yeah, I used to smoke, I used to drink, I used to smoke and drink, I used to do the hoochie coo. I used to smoke, drink, drink, smoke and drink, and do the hoochie coo. Out in the parking lot behind the Union Hall, people love to tell me, Jesus is coming down. Oh yeah, I've been saved, I've been saved, I've been saved, I've been saved. Oh yeah. Here we go now, you sing along. Amazing grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me, like me. Well, I was lost, but now I'm found. I was blind, but now I see. I see. God bless you.
All right.
Thank you, Roger.
Thank all of you again. And I'm looking forward to hearing all of your stories about my mother.
Give me some of that.
What? Oh, that. You need that.
I need that. I do that.
Yes. God. That's it.
The Outlook staff had to leave early because they had and they said Carol would understand.
Hey, she told me what?
She knows this is Tanya.
Leave that there.
Tanya.
Hi.
Asked Tanya if she would do something.